Hello, welcome to Model Kit Stuff Tool Review Day today, and we're looking at an airbrush from Gaahleri, the Mobius 2. Hello, welcome to Model Kit Stuff. My name is Jason and we're looking at an airbrush today. So I just wanted to start by showing you how this comes to you when you order one. So this is a Gaahleri airbrush and this is the packaging that it comes in. So it's been well packaged, taped down, comes in this corrugated shipper. Inside it's bubble wrapped for protection of the box. So if you want to keep the box, which I tend to do, then it's nicely protected. You've got no scuffing or damaging or anything like that going on, so that's really nice. And then we have the storage box. Storage box is nicely presented. It's pretty much the standard format for presenting their airbrushes. Some of them have like a magnetic folding flap, but most of them are top opening like this. Tells us that we've got a 0.2mm needle airbrush. The airbrush is dedicated to the needle or vice versa, whichever way you want to think of it. Tells us we've got a premium series. We've got a dual action airbrush. That means the trigger is dual action, not just on and off. And then on the back it tells us a little bit about it. It says it has a unique tangent micro air channel nozzle. We'll talk about that. For superior low pressure atomization and fine line, which at 0.2 is what we're really focusing on for this airbrush. Air valve designed for versatile painting techniques. Mirror level removal cup for effortless cleaning. Lightweight and ergonomic design. Main lever with adjustable tension. And you can see that there. So, and then we've got contact details of the company. This is a Chinese manufacturer who's been making waves in the modelling community with the quality of their airbrushes at a cost point that is far below the normal for high-end airbrushes. So, take the box lid off. And the first thing that we can see is we have a breakdown of the airbrush inside. This is really good because it's usually on a little leaflet and you end up losing the leaflet or throwing it away, and then you're not quite sure, and then you're searching around on the internet. You've got it to hand all the time. It's one of the reasons I keep them in their boxes when they're not out on display. Right, so also, the box comes with a quick start guide, which gives you, in multiple languages actually, which gives you some information on how to use the brush, what to do if you get certain issues, and how to work the brush, and that sort of thing, how to lubricate it. They're really, really helpful. Then we have some protective foam packaging. Then we have, and I love this about Gaahleri brushes, I believe one or two other brands have started doing this, but you always get this in a Gaahleri brush. You get a spare set of seals in a bag. Now what I like to do is just fold the seal bag up like so, making sure that your seals are protected, and then it fits quite nicely in this little cutout here underneath the lubrication and the airbrush, and you can keep it there until you might have to use them in the future. So as you can see, the airbrush is coming to you already assembled, with the exception of the paint cup. They've already attached a quick fit, a male quick fit nut, and then we've got some lubrication, and in the quick start guide you'll have a little bit of instructions on how to use it. You just need to cut the top off and away you go. Now the airbrush itself, if we take that out, looks very, very similar to the Mobius 0.3. And like the Mobius 0.3 that we've already reviewed on the channel, this airbrush is designed around a single needle. And this is a 0.2 needle, and this airbrush has been developed with detail work in mind. We know that because it's got a little extra feature that the 0.3 doesn't have, which is this here, which we'll talk about. So, features of the brush as we look at it. At the back here we've got this little stop that allows us to put a block on how far back we can pull the lever and help us regulate airflow. We've got this little cutout here, which is usually like an oval shape, but on the Mobius it's got this really lovely shape to it. And we've got access to the chucking nut here, so we can loosen the needle or tighten up the needle if it's starting to come loose. Also, we can change the resistance to the lever and slacken the spring and make it a bit looser, or tighten it up depending on how much control we want and our personal preference. The main body, we've got a little cutout here with a hole. The hole allows you to lubricate without having to strip the airbrush down, which is a really cool feature. And then these little cutouts, it doesn't matter whether you're left-handed or right-handed, they work because they put a flat on each side. These little flats, they help you with holding the airbrush. So rather than having your thumb resting on a spherical area, which puts a little bit of pressure on your thumb, even though you might not notice it over longer painting sessions, you will. It just makes it more comfortable, and I find it gives you a little bit more precision. So yeah, I find it's a really nice little feature. Like I've said, in the airline assembly we've already got a quick connect on it, and then we've got a gravity feed paint cup threaded with a seal in awaiting our paint cup. And then as we go through here, we've got our nozzle cap and our air cap, which is fluted inwards and is designed with small delicate precision work in mind. So what it's going to do is it's going to shape your air cone and funnel it inwards a little bit rather than it going out in a V shape. It'll be a bit more funneled and purpose. The one small downside that you get to these is that you can get a build-up of paint, particularly if you've not got the paint thinned and the air pressure spot on, but you can get a small build-up of paint on the inside of the ring there, so that's just something to watch out for. Like anything, when you've got a positive, there's always some negative counterbalance to that, isn't there? And then we have this here, and what this is an inline air regulator. Not sure what Gaahleri actually refer to it as, and I should do. An air valve, that's what they're calling it. So what this does is this allows you to adjust the airflow going through your airbrush without having to go back to the regulator on your compressor. So you can set your compressor at a certain air pressure, and then while you're working you can tweak it to get it to where you want it, or change the pressure to get different effects with the same paint in the same paint session. So that's really handy. I'm looking forward to having a play with that and trying that out and see how it goes. So you can screw it down to a maximum, and then it'll you'll feel it starting to get stiff, and you know that that's done, and then you can close it up, and again that goes stiff. You shouldn't ever have to disassemble that. You're never going to have to clean it. It's regulating airflow, not paint flow. Right, so when you first get the brush, a couple of things that you should always do, so let's just run through those. First thing is we want to be having a play with this here and just wind it all the way in as far as it'll go, and then wind it all the way out as far as it'll go. And that's just making sure that it's traveling all the way through that process and it's nice and slick. And I've got to say, it's got such a nice feel to it. It's such a pleasure to do. You can tell it's a quality product just from that. Also want you to mess around with this and get that nice and set. We'll just pull that out a little bit so we can move the lever. Get that as you want it, so it's ready to go. It's a bit loose for me, so I'm going to tighten that up a little bit. You can see how easy it is to get your finger and thumb in there, and this shape actually does help, I find. So we screw it in to tighten it up, and what it's basically doing is tensioning and slackening off a spring. There we go, that's about how I want it. Now you can see the lever has a square head, has a little cutout at the back so it can go all the way back. But yeah, the square head is very comfortable. It's more comfortable because you've got more surface area than the more usual round ones that you often get on airbrushes. So you can put your finger on it and you've got a more comfortable seat. Now, it's not flat, it's actually ever so slightly curved. You can feel it if you run your finger over it. There is a curve at each end that just gently goes out, so it does feel comfortable, but when you're pulling it back you've got more of your finger in contact with the airbrush because of the wedge design. It's a really clever trigger and it's really comfortable, and when you're doing sort of very gentle, careful detail work, it gives you that little bit of precision on the trigger, which is really helpful. So I find it's very nice. I have one of these triggers that I've put into one of my other airbrushes as an upgrade, and it does make a difference. You'd be surprised. So next thing, I've already done it, but just go through the thread on the air valve there, and we're just going to take off the air cap and make sure that's nice and finger tight. And then you're ready to go. You can connect that to an air hose and we can have a play. But I just want to show you something in the nozzle before we do. And that is the actual nozzle. So if we take that out of the nozzle cap, firstly, it's really long is the first thing you're going to notice, and that actually makes it really easy to take in and out. With the shorter ones, which are sort of that sort of length, you're often whipping it out with tweezers. But what we've got is we've got some little grooves. I have mentioned this before on the other airbrushes. Those grooves, they're directing airflow and managing airflow, so you get better atomization and a more precision finish and a crisper shape to the paint as it lands on your model. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a really nice innovation, and I love it. And then you can see we can put that on there. So let's just go through the airbrush technically. I'm going to pull that back, and then we can talk about performance of the airbrush after that. There we go, that's on. I'm going to put the air cap back on, and there we go, and we'll just put that on its stand for a sec. So let's talk about attributes of the airbrush. So the next thing we should talk about is the cup. It just comes with the one cup. So I'm not quite sure what size the cup is. I think it's a 10 ounce cup. So it's a small cup, but they're expecting detail work to require less volume of paint. But the thread diameter will be the same as their other cups, so it should be interchangeable, although do test that carefully. And the cup simply drops into place. It has a slightly longer thread than other airbrushes, which I like. You feel like it's sitting comfortably on there. And then we take this top off. Again, these are great fitting tops. They don't just fall off. They have a nice tight but secure rather than tight fit. And then, as you can see, as we look in there, we have the mirror finish, which is really important because the paint just rolls down there. They're so easy to clean. There's no machining. When you put your finger in, you can feel it's totally smooth, like it's been chrome plated, which it hasn't. It's just been highly polished. But yeah, they've done a really, really nice job. And it's a mirror finish, which is, you know, a polishing term. So yeah, it's very, very easy to clean. Really nice that they include that in the Mobius. So this is the first Gaahleri airbrush that has the control knob, and what that's going to do for you is when you're painting, like I've said before, you can adjust it, but what it'll effectively do is widen or make more thin, I couldn't think of the word, make thinner the line of paint. So this would allow you to work at a detail level sufficient for painting figures, that sort of level of fine paintability that you'll be able to get out of this. So it is a very precision instrument designed to do a very specific job, and that is to get right in at that detail with an airbrush rather than resorting to an ordinary brush, as a lot of people might do outside of sort of putting large areas of paint down. The other thing I like about this brush is the weight. So whilst I would say it was still heavier than some airbrushes on the market, it is really nicely weighted. So the distribution of the weight, when you've got the paint cup on, is really nice. So as I hold that in my finger and thumb, as I would do for painting, it's resting nicely on the back of my hand there, and I don't feel that it's top heavy and that it wants to pull away from me, which I do sometimes get from some cheaper airbrushes. So I really quite like how this feels in my hand. It feels not just comfortable, but it feels solid and robust as well. But not only that, you get a feel of quality. It's difficult to put my finger on it. I don't know whether it's the little bits of gold colourment in there, or this lovely fluted sort of 50s sci-fi shape that we get there, and it's just a really pretty airbrush actually, but it feels lovely, and the distances between your finger and the paint cup, you know, you've got loads of space there, so even if you've got much bigger fingers than me, you're not going to have a big problem. And then the air valve is far enough away that, you know, you can move it without feeling like you're all cramped up. So it is very, very nicely spaced out, designed, and I think it's really nice. Now, one thing I must point out is this airbrush is designed to be used with just the 0.2 needle. You can't take the 0.3 needle and put it on here. There is some differences in the setup, in the machining, and the design. So, you know, this is a tool that's been designed to just solely use that needle. But it's nice to have, for this sort of work, it's nice to have an airbrush that was designed knowing that exactly what its task was going to be. I think that can be a real advantage when you're using a tool like this. So let's get it connected to the airline and see how it gets on. So first of all, let me show you how much difference this makes to your airflow. So if I've got it fully open right now, if I put my put the air through, you can hear that, and then as I twist it, you'll hear the air slowly shut off. And I can actually virtually turn it off. I can feel very slight, but not much. So we'll start with it fully open, so we can see just how much detail we can get out of it, and it's fully open, and then we'll tweak it and see what a difference that makes. One thing you do need to bear in mind is that the air regulator here can get in the way of the airbrush sitting squarely on your airbrush stand. So let's see how we get on. I've put some red paint in here, and the airflow is fully open. What we're going to do is this is the first time I've done it. You're seeing how it performs at the same time as me. So air on. You can see that's quite wide. So let's see what that looks like if we just reduce this. A couple of twists in. think that's a little bit too closed for the air pressure on my compressor. But look how fine. I've still got the ability to go in and out and do effects. But I can get very, very fine lines with that. So I could do with some practice, some real precision painting with that. That is really good, and it's very comfortable as I do that. I don't feel like my fingers are getting stressed or anything like that. So I'm really quite impressed with that. Let's just see if we've got any paint build-up on the inside of the air cap. Nope, it's performing brilliantly. I haven't lubricated the needle, so it wouldn't surprise me if we've got a bit of tip dry, but it doesn't appear to be. So I'm going to put my stopper on to just a fraction back now. And look at that. So this tool gives you everything you need to do real precision, detailed work. I love it. And let me show you just how clean inside that paint cap is, just from draining the paint from that mirror finish. If I just put some ordinary water in the paint and spray that through, you can see it's almost self-cleaned. So we should talk price. This premium series airbrush is currently, as I record this, in early September 2024, it's currently on sale on the Gaahleri website for $76.99. Now, if you go through to the website using my link and then put in my discount code, I can get you 10% off that, even though that's a reduced price on the website. So I think that is a really, really great value airbrush for something that's really quite a serious bit of kit. Now, this is only really a tool for people that want to either are aspiring to do detail work with an airbrush, or do detail work with an airbrush and want a dedicated instrument for doing that. I think it's a phenomenal brush. It really is a nice brush, and I'm going to start having a good play with it and getting used to it. But it's a great value brush. And you know, at that sort of price, what can go wrong, you know? But I have several Gaahleri airbrushes, and I've been using all of them over a little period of time now, and I absolutely love working with these brushes. They are great brushes. They're not cheap quality. They are really high quality. Now, I'm not saying that they're made to the same standard of airbrushes that might cost you £200-300, but then you're not paying £200 or £300. But this is perfectly good. This will do everything that you need. It will last you a good long time. It's a robust, strong, well engineered product made from good quality materials. And Gaahleri are building a reputation for reliability, and you don't build a reputation by chucking junk out and thinking there's always someone else to sell to. So they're going about this the right way, and I think this is a beautiful airbrush. And you know what? It's almost a work of art in its own right, isn't it? So there you go. please use my link to get to the website to make sure you're getting the most recent deals. Don't be thinking you can go and find one cheaper on Amazon, because you won't. The cheapest place to get one is direct from the website. Any other site such as Amazon, they're adding third-party profits onto it, so it just won't be cheaper. You'll get the best deal and a 10% discount only from the Gaahleri website. So there you go. That's my thoughts on the Mobius 2. I think it's a stunning brush in every sense. So I hope that was useful. If you're sort of in the market for a dedicated detail brush, then I think you would do a lot worse than take a close look at that. Okay, thank you very much for looking in. You enjoy your modelling, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. It's free, and that way you won't miss my first impressions, my tool reviews, my product reviews, and any of my builds, including wooden model kits as well as plastic. It's all free, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can hit my PayPal link in the text below. Every pound goes straight into the channel to keep the cameras rolling and to do more fun stuff for you to watch.